In my opinion, Victor Borge is the most original, funny, and talented entertainer of our time. Victor invented a whole style of comedy. His routines are as fresh and funny today as they were 70 plus years ago when he first stepped on the stage. Hi, I'm Itzhak Perlman, and I've been a big fan of Victor's comedy my whole life. Welcome to the legendary Victor Borge, a celebration of the comedic genius of Victor Borge. Victor Borge has performed before many of the world's kings and queens, princes, and 11 US presidents. He has received more honors than time will allow, including the prestigious Kennedy Center honors, and recently had a New York City theater named in his honor. In a successful film career in Denmark, Borge played many roles. Here are some excerpts.
Revenge! This foul and most unnatural murder!
Murder?
Victor and I have played all the works of the great composers, and knowing Victor's talent, I asked him once, how come you never composed anything yourself? Victor said, but I have, I just never wrote it down. Here's a clip which shows how Victor composes.
I'd like to take you to the piano now and show you how a modern composer today composes a modern song hit. He will have on the piano a batch of music, some old, some new, all kinds of music, a pair of scissors, and some glue in a big bowl like this. And now I would like to show you how to compose a song hit, we hope, in a jiffy. Let us take, for instance, Brahms on top here. Johannes Brahms, J. Brahms. There's a lively one. Ah, that's too slow. Tchaikovsky, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. This is something. That's a little too dangerous. Now, Schubert, Franz Schubert, the wonderful composer. He was a very poor composer. He wasn't a poor composer, he was a poor man. He was a fine composer, and here's his Serenade. Nate. Well, I always have my glasses with me. You see, these are very lovely glasses. They're cut here like Benjamin Franklin's because I don't need glasses, so I can see over them when I look at them. But for now, I can get along without them anyway. That's a lovely theme, and nobody will know that. So we will cut out a little of this. That'll never be popular. You know, make it so that nobody will recognize it. Fine. Now we have a little glue here. Now, for our next edition, a little Debussy, Claude Debussy, the French composer by the same name. Claude Debussy, unfortunately, is dead, as you probably have heard. And I sincerely hope he is, because they buried him quite a few years ago. According to Ed Sullivan's column, of course. Incidentally, that also happened to Mrs. Debussy. I'm sorry. The whole family gone. They were lovely people, fine people, but that's the way it goes. Well, I don't care. I have my own problems. I didn't even know them. But I happen to know a couple who live here in New York, an elderly couple who knew them very, very well. They were very close to them like this, and they've known them for years. And they have told me all about it. It's very interesting to hear people sit and talk about such greatness being so far remote from them. And they really knew them well. Lovely. They hated them. Now we have a little Shostakovich. Shostakovich. Just a moment. We'll find it. Now here's a little Mozart, the greatest of them all. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Before I play this, I would like to show you a collector's item I have here. Very few people, which is the same as many few people, we'll get into French in a minute, envy me this little collection here. This, ladies and gentlemen, in this little box is the first note that Wolfgang Mozart ever wrote in his life. Isn't that the cutest thing? Can you see it? Well, it doesn't matter. It's here anyway. And this is a B. Think of that little cute Mozart. This is the first note he ever wrote. And here I have, in the other hand, or now in the same hand, the last note Mozart wrote after 30 years in composing. Isn't that something? I'm thrilled with these two things. The second note is a C. And this is the last Mozart ever wrote. In other words, I have from his first note to his last note. Actually, I don't think he went very far, do you?
One of the most prominent television correspondents, Mike Wallace, played an unusual role, the straight man, to Victor Borge, almost 40 years ago.
Tonight, we take pride in demonstrating for the first time the phenomenal discovery of the time window. The time window was developed by an obscure network vice president who was dozing one night before his television set and inadvertently short-circuited his remote control switch by dropping it into a plate of 100-year-old turtle soup. And to his amazement, this gentleman found himself watching a Civil War movie with the original cast, an event that occurred exactly 100 years ago. Well, tonight, through the miracle of the time window, we present the first in our new gallery of television portraits of colorful geniuses and historic figures of a century ago. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as you gaze into the time window, we take you to the home of the eminent Hungarian composer Franz Liszt. And in so doing, we set television back 100 years. Are you there, Mr. Liszt? Mr. Liszt, are you there?
I certainly am, Mr. Wallace. And how are you, Mr. Wallace?
I'm fine, thank you. And how do you feel, Mr. Liszt?
Oh, I feel wonderful because Anderson doesn't upset my stomach.
We've been admiring your splendid home, all the stately chambers, mammoth furnishings, and I was most impressed with your beautiful formal garden. I noticed the geraniums coming up the front walk.
Are those darn geraniums coming up the front walk again?
Mr. Liszt, would you please tell us just a little bit about your exquisite home? For instance, the interesting pictures on the wall over there.
Oh, yes, I'm glad you asked that, Mr. Wallace. This is what I call my composer's corner. These are the composers of my most favorite compositions, I may say. There I am, 6 years old. There I am, some years later. And here I am, 10 years from now.
Mr. Liszt, is that a piece of music you have framed there on the wall?
No, that is a piece of music I have framed there on the wall. This happens to be my first composition. It is not a very impressive composition, but it is a very important composition. May I play it for you, Mr. Wallace?
Please.
I told you it was not very impressive, but it is important. Here it is. Yeah. Well, I told you, but it is very important because if we hadn't written this, we would never have had this.
I understand. Mr. Liszt, while you have conquered the world with your pianism, to say nothing of your composing, to whom do you feel that you owe all your success?
My mother. She was a very, very lovely woman. Even her name was lovely. Christmas was her name. Christmas Liszt.
With your permission, sir, I wonder if I may change the subject. Everyone is interested in the amours of a great artist. And it's common knowledge that you have known many women in your lifetime. Now, without going into details, of course, would you care to comment on your relationship with the fair sex?
Mr. Wallace, which one is that? The women, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Wallace, I have been chased by beautiful women in every country. The terrible price the artist has to pay for the art. I have played all over the world. Piano, of course.
Is the lady whom I see in the love seat beside you, Mrs. Liszt, by any chance?
The lady you see beside me in the love seat is not Mrs. Liszt, and she hasn't got a chance. Let's just say that she's an old friend and drop the subject. I keep her here for balance.
Franz Liszt, have you ever thought of writing an opera?
No, frankly, I haven't. But I met Joe Green yesterday on the street, and this is very interesting.
Joe Green?
Yes, Joe
Oh,
Green.
you mean Giuseppe Verdi?
Oh, that's his stage name. We met, and he suggested something about Aida. I don't even know her. No, I wasn't interested in anything like that.
Well, you might be interested to know, Mr. Liszt, that there is now a movie in our country based on your life.
Is that so? Yeah. What's the name of that?
It's called Song Without End. It covers your entire brilliant career. And you certainly did have a brilliant career.
Yes, except for that very, very bad year, 1887.
Well, what happened in 1887?
I died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's life.
But you certainly did have a brilliant life. All of those triumphs. As the flower of the musical world, Mr. Liszt, with all of that adulation, I'm amazed that your success hasn't gone to your head.
Well, I'll tell you... Excuse me just a second. I'm a chain sniffer. Mr. Wallace, I have, in my youth, been very conceited. As a matter of fact, I was always very conceited. That has all changed now. Now I'm perfect.
Yes, and it's surprising how you still manage to retain your modesty, sir. You played for royalty many times, did you not, Mr. Liszt?
Yes, I did. But, kings, queens, jacks, countesses, and so, but they seem to, well, they don't understand my music. But the food is good.
Well, if they don't understand your music, why do you play for royalty?
Because I get 5 extra points when I take a civil service examination.
What is your unbiased opinion, sir, about your contemporary composers? Have you, for instance, heard Johann Strauss' Tales of the Vienna Woods?
Oh, but I heard a cute one about a musician's daughter. Something like that.
What do you think of Brahms?
Who?
Johannes Brahms.
Oh, Joe Brahms? The fellow from Hamburg? He writes for babies. What do you expect from a hamburger?
Chopin?
Well, he used to be a good friend of mine, but he got in with a bad crowd. He was running around with this woman. What was her name? What was her name?
George?
Are you trying to be funny, maybe?
I'm sorry, sir, but her name was George.
You're sick!
George Sand.
George Sand. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize, of course. The one who smoked my cigar. Yes. No, the only thing he wrote that ever came in handy was the minute waltz. Because I happen to use it every morning. Before breakfast, I push my piano out in the kitchen, and then I play the minute waltz 3 times, and my eggs are done.
Although Victor Borge's popularity has taken him to sold-out houses throughout the world, he has always been devoted to his family, with 5 children, 9 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, and a wonderful marriage to the beautiful Sanna Borge for nearly 50 years. Victor Borge's oldest son, the talented Ronald Borge, not only production manages all of Victor's appearances, he's also the hilariously incompetent helper in the classic routine, The Timid Page Turner. Have a look.
So what can I do for you? Oh, yes, I called you in, yeah. I'm sorry. Boom, 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 boom. You said you work here? Yes. What do you do?
I call the lights.
No, I said you said you work. So what do you do?
I call the lights.
What do you call the lights? What happens if the lights don't come when you call them? I do. Long time no see. Are you afraid your hand will fall off? Well, same on the back of it. Oh, now I remember. Would you be kind enough to turn the pages? I had a problem there. I should have had a book with the hand. Loose sheets are very difficult. Nice fellow, a little dopey, but he's silly. When I'm playing, of course. Okay. Apparently you don't read music. Here it says PP, but don't pay attention to that. Have to explain everything. That means pianissimo. That is an Italian abbreviation for very soft. Very soft. Piano, pianissimo. Just the opposite of which... This is Liebestraum by Flist. It's a nice piece. Hope you will enjoy it.
Excuse me.
It's F List. That's what I said, Flist.
No, it's F List.
F List, young man, is Flist. You don't say M Mozart. Would you put a foot on one of those things there? No, the first one, closest to you. That's it, press down, like this. Very good.
When Victor Borge takes the stage, you will never know who will appear with him. 20th century legends like Jack Benny and George Burns, Frank Sinatra, Isaac Stern, Dean Martin, Ed Sullivan, Beverly Sills, Liberace, and
Mr. Borge.
Fozzie Bear?
Could I come in and hear you play?
Yes, come right in.
Oh, terrific! Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I'll be real quiet.
Very good, very good.
What are you going to play?
I'm going to play some Beethoven. I'm playing the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven.
Oh, go ahead, yes.
I don't think you would like it.
Why?
See what it says here? Con molto tedioso.
What does that mean?
That means with great dullness. I don't think you would like that. Not the way you came in there. Yeah, that's it.
Don't go, please, please, for me.
Okay, you have to be quiet.
Okay. Shh.
That's the Spanish composer, El Beethoven.
Oh, you made a mistake.
No, that's the way I wrote it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Borge.
Yes,
Was it all over?
That was fascinating.
You think that was fascinating? Well, you can come back later and watch me tie my shoes.
Everybody's always asking Victor Borge
You know,
to play
it's not
something
easy.
straight.
All the way.
But all kidding aside, Victor is a master musician and maestro. His touch at the piano is legendary, so much so that the noted music critic Jacob Siskind wrote, Borge is such a cut-up, you don't expect him to play with such incredible sensitivity. The tone is pure gold. Here are some excerpts from performances showcasing his masterful musical ability. Included is one of my favorite violinists. Just when you think that you know what Victor Borge is going to do next, he comes up with something completely unexpected. Here's another classic improvised routine where he and his colleague Shahan Azrouni play the second Hungarian Rhapsody by Franz Liszt. Have a look. World-famous Danish opera singer Lauritz Melchior couldn't resist the opportunity of appearing on stage with Victor Borge.
My accompanist, you know, he's still in Europe. And,
oh, that is just too bad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go on with the show. Thank you, Lauritz.
Of course, I would like to sing an encore.
Sure,
yeah, because you know, if you could perhaps, I have no accompanist, but you could perhaps, if you would.
Well, I don't sing, you know. That's it. That's I'm off.
Well, I mean, if you would.
Oh, if I would, yeah, but I don't think the audience wants another one, actually. Must be a lot of people here from Toledo. That's all I can say. Okay, Lauritz, if you want me to, let's step to the piano.
Thank you.
After you, sir.
Thank you.
Lauritz, you know, I haven't accompanied anybody for years. Well, now I'm a soloist myself, you know. Well, I shall try. I would like to know, what are you going to sing?
Come back to Sorrento.
Thank you. Must have been somebody who haven't heard it before. Lauritz, you know, when I used to be an accompanist, that I had 3 kinds of accompaniment.
Yeah.
One, I charged $200. That was excellent. That was brilliant. Of course, you could hardly hear the singer in that one. And I had one for about, I would say, $150. That wasn't so hot, you know. You know, what can you do with one hand after all? Then I had one for $100. For that one, I
know that one, and I know that one, yeah.
Which one do you wish?
Oh, I leave it up to you, what you think.
Okay. Won't cost you much tonight. Okay. May I hear your A, please? I like mine better. I mean, there's something in the piano that's not supposed to be. That must be from another show. Would you please take that one? Sorrento? That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't intend now.
Guarda il mare come bello, spira tanto sentimento, come soave accento, e me testo fa sognar. Senti come sale dai giardini d'ordaranti, un profumo non va uguale per chi palpita d'amor. E tu dici il patro addio, allontani questa terra dell'amore. Hai la forza di lasciar.
The genius of Victor Borge's comedy is not limited to any language, so much so that he had to create his own. You'll see in the next excerpt that it's not only wonderful, but according to Victor Borge, it's dutiful. It's one of my favorite routines.
Well, I was going to give you a lesson in a language I have invented, which I call the inflationary language. Everything with numbers in it is going up and up and up, except the language. We have in our language certain words with numbers. If we add 1 to these numbers, we will have, instead of wonderful, we will have tutorful. Before will be 5, create 9, tenderly will be 11derly. And the sentence like, I ate a tenderloin with my fork, will be a 9th and 11th loin with my 5. I'm going to read to you from a book, just a short chapter, not a chapter, but a paragraph. This is a book written by a Russian author. It's not a very good book, but I don't read the whole thing anyway. He is Ivanovich Volofov Sonovovich. These are short stories, very short stories. The shortest stories that are available, actually, because they're so bad that there was no reason to make them any longer. Yeah. And he writes, here for instance is one about Tchaikovsky. See under ch. Are you laying eggs? See under ch. Yeah. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. He says, seafood. What? Oh, see footnote. Peter was born in Votkinsk, but never played down in the streets of Votkinsk like the other little children of Votkinsk, because when he was 2 months old, his parents moved to St. Petersburg. That's the kind of stories he's writing. Now I'm going to find the one I'm going to read to you. Twice upon a time, there lived in sunny California a young man named Bob. He was a lieutenant in the Air Force. Bob had been very fond of Anna, his 1.5 sister, ever since she saw the light of day for the second time. They were proud of the fact that 2 of their 5 fathers were among the creators of the U.S. Constitution. Now they were dining on the terrace. Anna, said Bob as he took a bite of marinated herring, you look beautiful 3 nights. You never looked so lovely before. Anna really looked beautiful in spite of the illness from which she had not yet recuperated. Yes, repeated Bob, you look beautiful. But you have 3 of the saddest eyes I have ever seen. The table was tastefully decorated with Anna's favorite flowers, 3 lips. They were talking about Anna's ascertained husband. Ah, there's a difficult one. Ascertained husband. You got it? From whom she was separated. They were talking about Anna's ascertained husband from whom she was separated, while on the radio an Irish 11er was singing T53. I didn't get that one. It was midnight, a clock in the distance struck 13. And suddenly there in the moonlight stood her husband, done too. Obviously intoxicated, having just had 2-3 many. Anna, he blurted, you are no longer my 2 and only. But Bob jumped to his feet. Get out of here, you 3-faced triple-crosser. And Anna warned, be careful, Bob, you are talking to an officer. Aha, said Bob, is he 2? I'm 2, 3. Well, I'll wait. All right, said Don 2 as he wiped his 5 head. Farewell, Anna, 5 ever and ever. Threedaloo, threedaloo.
Victor Borge has played all of the world's major concert halls, none more prestigious than Carnegie Hall. Here's another great archive clip with Victor accompanying singer Sergio Franchi.
Give me the note, please.
The what?
Note.
Which one?
F.
Get an F.
I want an F on the piano.
I beg your pardon.
I want an F on the piano.
Put it there.
No, I want it da 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 da. Oh, you know, to stop. Ah, thank you. Is that an F?
No.
No. No.
Yes, that's it.
Pronto?
No, F.
F.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's not Tango. It's no. It's no, never. No, man. I think you better follow me.
Follow you?
Oh yes, please follow me.
Lecture.
Thank you. Mimi.
Wait a minute. Let me get you right.
Right.
All right.
Tango. Thank you. It's no, never. Come hold me tight. Kiss me, my darling. Let's be mine tonight. Tomorrow will be today. It's now or never. And my love can't wait.
One of the great secrets of Victor Borge's comedy success is that it's based in musical realities, whether following a singer, working with another pianist, or accompanying an opera singer. He magically takes a real situation and turns it into a unique comedy masterpiece. Here is beautiful soprano Marilyn Mulvey in concert with an accompanist named Victor Borge.
That's exactly what I said. Hands off, please. She has a habit. You shouldn't lean against the pianos, Marilyn, because sometimes there might not be a piano next to you when you sing. Maybe a flute player. You can't hang on to the flute. You can't flout the flute. Marilyn is a cacolatura. And she said, why don't you sing an aria from one of this? You like arias? Wait till you hear what she's going to do. Thank you. When this ovation has died down. What have you chosen to sing then?
Yes, I'd like to sing the Caro Nome from Rigoletto.
Oh, God. All right, for the ones of you who are staying, Marilyn will sing the Cacanomi aria from the opera Rigor Mortis by all means. Who wrote that, Marilyn?
Giuseppe Verdi.
Why? I mean, why yes? Why yes? Why yes? That's an expression. Why yes? It's your language. I'm just trying to use it. That's all. Hands off, please. It should take long. Not if I can help it. Oh, you don't tune up.
What's the matter? Don't you know it? Oh, one more. It's mine. Sorry. Finish? We do have an agreement. She doesn't touch my piano. I don't lay hands on her coloratura. You just said that. Twice. I thought you had that fixed.
One of the amazing things about Victor Borge is the variety of people he performs with. Victor has introduced millions of people to the enjoyment of classical music through his comedy. A little bit of humor makes the music go down easier.
I have some request. I knew there was something that would... What was it? Oh, hello. Oh. Someday I'm going to look like this. What were the requests we had? I haven't promised anything, but you said that they had... Oh, an anniversary, yes. A wedding, I guess. It was 28 years? 29 years. Well, one more or less. Are they still together? You don't know. Well, the gentleman asked if I would play a tune called Hemorrhage. Oh, Humoresque. Sorry. Your language. He said, please play it twice, because he said his wife hates that number. Well, I'm sorry, but this is not the way I thought it was. But that, 1 second, let me just check something. I always run into that corner there, you know. That's why I have a big hole in my knee. Here it is. All right, you sing it. I'm not a singer, obviously. That's what it says. Now comes the middle piece, and that's worse. Are you here to enjoy it or not? A duck? And then back. Now we shall see what it sounds like. See what it sounds like. How do we do that? Why don't we listen to what it looks like? Well, it's your language. I'm just trying to use it, I told you. Somebody said that they can't stand. No, what was it? He said, he just sit up at night, but they sit down in the daytime. What's the difference? How do you sit up and how do you sit down differently? And why do you do it at night and the other way in the daytime? Strange language. And a friend of mine said he can't stand sitting. There are many things we do differently here. Okay. I was right. Thank you. That's fine. Thank you very much.
What Victor Borge television show would be complete without the legendary phonetic punctuation?
I invented it many years ago when I first noticed that people who speak together often fail to understand each other clearly. When we read or write, we use punctuation marks in order to underline the meaning of our sentences, but we do not have that support when we speak. So why not integrate punctuation marks into our speech? Then we can underline what we intend to convey to each other verbally. Now, what the hell was all that? I always get involved in all these speeches and things like that. And then, but of course, and then of course, and that is, it was right. I'll teach you how to use the system. It's very simple. A period sounds like this. That was a bad one. That was a much better one. A dash. An exclamation point is a vertical dash with a period underneath. See? The comma. Quotation are two commas. Or if you happen to be left-handed. Question mark is a little difficult. Finally, the colon, the two little dots, you can put them over each other, or you can put them under each other, or you can put them wherever you want to put them. That's it. I have a short story right here in the beginning of the book, coming up. Page 9. Page 6. In the open window there suddenly came light. Beautiful Elinor sat alone dreaming of but one thing. 2 years had passed since she met Sir Henry. She could still remember the unhappy evening when her father had thrown him out. They had been sitting in the park, and Henry had said, "Darling." Is this the first time you have loved? She had answered, yes. But it is so wonderful that I hope it shall not be the last. Getting a little messy here, but otherwise. Would you like to move back one row? Suddenly she heard a well-known sound. It was he. In 2 strides he was near her, embraced, kissed and caressed her. Henry! What is love? She asked. He answered, well, I couldn't live without it. She asked, I'm sorry. She was a little left-handed. Where have your thoughts been? And he answered, with thee, my maiden foot. Suddenly he had gone. Oops. All she heard was the well-known sound of his departing horse.
The legendary Victor Borge has brought happiness and laughter to millions of people around the world for more than 70 years. He touches my heart and funny bone and has been a major influence to generations of musicians and comedians, including me. I personally want to thank him for bringing so much joy into my life and into the world. Thank you, Victor. I'll let Victor say goodnight in his own inimitable way.
So, ladies and gentlemen, everything comes to an end. This is it. Thank you for being with us. For the second half of Comedy and Music. We hope you will be back with us for the third half, and the fourth half, and many, many more halves. This is what I had to offer. Some laughs, some smiles, some giggles, sneezes, snoozes, coughs, hiccups, blowing noses. But once in a while, a handkerchief comes out to wipe a tear away from laughter. That's my reward. The rest goes to the government.